At 3 a.m., a stranger stirred your food while cameras caught it, and your own TV showed a live feed of your couch. From a house that watches, to a truck stop that poisons, to a basement that answers back. These are the true stories of people who learned the hard way, that safety is just an illusion. In fall 2016, I moved into half of a very old house from the 1880s, near Indiana University's original campus. The old campus area had become a park, but it was frequented by homeless people and drug users. The owners had turned the house into an odd duplex. A friend who lived there before me said it was haunted. I didn't believe him, he was a quirky guy. The layout was unusual. You entered directly into a living room-like space, then a doorway led to a bedroom, and beyond that was the kitchen. There were no doors except for the bathroom, and one to the shared basement. My first night was quiet, though I felt uneasy, living alone, again lonely, and on edge. I stayed up late and eventually fell asleep, but woke around 3 a.m., a cliché, I know, to the sound of drumming. It sounded like several people hitting every flat surface in the living room. It lasted a few minutes, a chaotic racket, and I was terrified. After 2 or 3 minutes, I finally got up to check. The instant I crossed into the living room, it stopped. Nothing else happened that night, but I didn't sleep much. A couple of days later, a friend was visiting and about to leave. We stood by the front door next to my bookshelf. I told him I'd been sleeping poorly and mentioned that first night. As I spoke, a book launched off the shelf and hit the floor about 3 feet away. It had to clear the dresser the shelf sat on and landed between us. He gave me a creeped out look and said he had to go. I didn't blame him. Eventually, I asked the tenant in the other half what he knew. He'd lived there 8 years. He said no one on my side stayed longer than a year and they reported the same things. Oddly, nothing ever happened on his side. It made no sense, but that was his story. I tried to write it off as my imagination, but the incidents continued. Every night brought strange sounds, faint whispers in the walls, or footsteps pacing the hallway outside my bedroom. I started feeling watched whenever I was alone, like something stayed just out of sight. One night, while getting ready for bed, loud banging came from the basement as if someone was hitting the walls with a sledgehammer. I hesitated, then went to check. As I went down the creaky stairs, the banging got louder and more frantic. My heart pounded. I stepped into the dim basement and it was empty, just old boxes and furniture under dusty sheets. The noise stopped as suddenly as it began. I couldn't shake the sense that something was wrong with the house, like a heavy presence in every corner. I tried to carry on with my routine, but the dread hung over me. Another evening while cooking dinner, a blood-curdling scream came from the bedroom. I ran in, heart racing. The episodes grew more frequent. I felt tormented by something I didn't understand. I wanted to move but couldn't afford it, and I felt trapped. Then it escalated. I woke from a restless sleep to whispers in the walls, like 100 voices at once, hateful and unintelligible. A chill ran down my spine, the whispering stopped, and a low growl came from the foot of my bed. I turned on the lamp, expecting an animal. What I saw was worse. A figure shrouded in darkness, eyes glowing, mouth twisted in a grin with jagged teeth. I wanted to scream or run, but I was frozen. In a sudden rush, it lunged with clawed hands. I shut my eyes and braced. Nothing happened. When I looked again, it was gone. That was it. I packed and left that night. I still don't know what was in that house, and I hope I never find out. I'll never forget it, and I'll never go back. Before the next story, if you're new here, please subscribe and tap the bell for upcoming scary stories. We appreciate your support. Share with friends and family. Thanks. When I was driving solo, I had a delivery in Memphis, Tennessee. It was a hot summer evening with the sun setting and a golden light over the city. After hours on the road, my GPS took me to a warehouse on the outskirts. The place looked abandoned, and the only sounds were old crates creaking in the wind. I grabbed my clipboard and stepped out into the warm air. A gruff receiver with a thick beard met me at the dock, signed for the load, and I started unloading. Hours passed as he delayed me over paperwork issues. At 7 p.m., my drive time ended, and I needed a spot for a 10-hour reset. He suggested the TA Petro in West Memphis across the state line. I thanked him, climbed back in, and left frustrated and tired. The drive to the truck stop was uneventful, but the lot felt unusually quiet as I pulled in. The sun had dipped below the horizon, long shadows stretching across the asphalt. I parked in the very back where the darkness almost swallowed the truck. My dog Noodles, a scruffy little terrier, whined in the passenger seat, picking up on my unease. I took Noodles for a quick walk. In the deserted lot, I noticed a man standing behind a trailer, staring into space. It sent a shiver up my spine. I hurried Noodles back into the truck. After settling him, I grabbed my dinner bag and headed to the restaurant. Footsteps echoed behind me. I turned. The same man was following at a distance. My heart raced. I picked up the pace, weaving through parked trucks, but he kept up, always just out of sight. I pushed into the restaurant, grateful for the light and crowd. It was busy. I took a stool at the counter and ordered a burger and fries. I scanned for the man, but didn't see him. Halfway through, I went to the restroom. When I returned, my fork was now on the right side of the plate. I'm left-handed, and always place utensils on the left. A chill ran through me. Someone had touched my food. I called the waitress over, standing behind my chair. I asked if she'd moved anything. She said no, and hadn't noticed anyone near my plate. I asked for the manager. He arrived. I explained the man and the tampered food. His face turned serious. He offered to replace the meal and move me to a safer seat. While I waited, he went to the office. When he came back, he said he had reviewed the camera. A man had approached my plate while I was in the restroom, added something to the mashed potatoes, stirred, and left. My skin crawled. He offered to call the police. I agreed. 2 officers arrived, took statements, and searched, but didn't find the man. They said they'd keep watch. One officer walked me back to my truck through the dark lot. His partner would patrol the area through the night. I thanked them, relieved. The night had been frightening, but the staff and officers were kind. As I settled in, Noodles curled beside me. I still felt like the man was out there, watching, but with police nearby, I finally relaxed and drifted off.